how to read faster the right way. Students have to take important tests that require them to read a great deal of material and to answer many questions in just a few minutes. For example, the fourth grade verbal reasoning section of the ISEE requires that 35 questions be answered in 17.5 minutes. That's fast. So parents often ask me about speed reading. But is speed reading the answer? No, not by itself. Speed reading techniques help people to see words faster, but that does not mean that they can understand those words any better. Speed reading does not increase comprehension. Speed reading is like driving at 100 miles per hour down the highway without focus or direction. The result is getting nowhere fast or ending up in a serious accident. Speed does not guarantee understanding. What we want is for our children to read faster with understanding. We want them to read and be able to answer questions with greater speed and accuracy. So how do we help them to read with greater speed and comprehension? We need to teach them how to read faster by using the techniques that I will explain below. I have arranged this patented, effective technique as an original acronym to help you and your children to understand, remember, and apply it consistently. What is fast reading? Notice the acronym FAST. What does the F stand for? Focus with discipline and determination. So we want our students to focus with discipline and determination, analyze the passage's context, words, and sentences, see the big picture, and track transitional elements. Let's take a deeper look. Focusing with discipline and determination. One of the questions that you need to ask is, what are the most distracting influences in your child's life right now? And I want you to consider the impact of video games, of television, of a constant on-screen presence with elements that keep moving your child's eye back and forth. And what happens is, because the book is static, does not move, and television and video games are always moving, those elements distract students, destroy their ability to focus consistently with concentration on any topic. And what you want to do is begin to limit, not go cold turkey and take it away all by itself or all at one time, but you need to begin to limit how much time your children spend on these screen devices. I mean, I love technology, and it's a great tool for learning, but it is not learning itself. And giving your children an iPad or an Android or a Kindle and letting them do that in the car everywhere you travel does not therefore mean that they're actually learning anything. It could actually mean that those devices are working against their learning because it's working against their focus. In order to begin teaching your children how to focus with discipline and determination, you need to start removing the distracting influences in your child's life. The next step will be for them to learn to analyze context, words, and sentences. But the tools for analysis are going to be vocabulary and knowledge and grammar. And so the questions you want to ask yourself is, how rich is my child's knowledge of history and culture? You have to have an understanding of the context of what you're reading. It's very important. If you're reading about Beethoven, You want your children to know he was a great musician and perhaps some of the works he did. This helps them to contextualize the passage about Beethoven. If you're reading about the president, you need to understand government and how it works. And so contextualization is really important, but that's based on knowledge of the facts that surround the article or passage. How rich is your child's vocabulary? How many words do your children know? Does your child know? And can they use key elements like roots and prefixes to decode words? I want to help you to do this. So I'm asking these questions. This is an overview. In the next video, I'm going to go into each of these topics separately and show you how to develop them so your children can develop faster reading with greater comprehension and accuracy. The last one is, how well does your child understand the grammatical parts of speech and how writers use these tools to create meaning? Parents, I cannot stress how important grammar is. Grammar is the language about language. It helps children to understand what writers are doing. And if you can understand what writing is like and what the writers are doing, then you have a greater chance of writing with clarity yourself and reading with greater comprehension. So vocabulary, grammar, and knowledge, they go together. All right. Next, see the big picture. How can your child use an understanding then of context clues, vocabulary, and grammar to comprehend the writer's main idea or argument? So you want them to see the big picture. What is the writer speaking about in general? What's the main idea here? Then you want them to use what I call transitional elements. And transitional elements are words and phrases that writers use to connect the thoughts from one sentence to another and one paragraph to another. So how acute is your child's ability to trace the big idea through the words and phrases that writers use to connect their thoughts? This is going to be a key question as we move forward in this series of videos. So the next time we come back, we'll be looking at this acronym FAST, focus, analysis, seeing the big picture, and tracking transitional elements. The key to speed is not simply a technique of speed reading, but a way of reading properly by using grammar, by using vocabulary, by using knowledge. And the more knowledge, the more grammar, and the more vocabulary your kids know, the faster they'll be able to read, because they're not now looking to figure out the words or how the writer has arranged them or having to look up the knowledge that's not there in their minds. When you put all three of these elements together, your children will be able to read faster with greater comprehension and accuracy, understanding, without having to learn subvocalization, non-subvocalization techniques as speed readers do. Speed reading is great if you know what you're reading. Speed reading is wonderful if you already have knowledge and comprehension. Then you just read faster. But if you are seeking comprehension and understanding, reading more words doesn't help you. But reading words with greater understanding, that's the key. And that's what we'll be looking at in our next series of videos. For more information, I want you to call Scholar Skills at 718-258-4647 or visit us on the web at www.scholarskills.com or email us at contactme@scholarskills.com. I look forward to seeing you in the next video about the need for speed.